Welcome to the BakeLikeAPro YouTube channel. In today's recipe, I'm going to show you how to make a very easy red velvet cake. So let's get started. Into a large bowl, I'm going to get 1 egg. I am using a large egg. To that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. Then our next ingredient, 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to grab my hand mixer and I'm just going to start mixing all of this together. This is a really simple recipe. Just get my mixer going. I want to get a little bit of air incorporated into all of our ingredients. Slow my mixer down. I'm going to add our little bit of vanilla. This is 1/2 teaspoon. And then I have a 1/2 teaspoon of white vinegar. I'll add that in as well. That's going to add some acidity to our recipe. It's going to make the cake tender, as well as our buttermilk, which I'm going to add in a couple of seconds. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of red food coloring. And I am using a gel. You can use a liquid if you wish. So that's 1 tablespoon, which is equal to 15 milliliters. Get that all in. Okay, that's good. Grab my mixer again. I just want to get this all nicely combined. We're going to need a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and I'm going to add about half of that in. Just get all of that mixed in. So that's a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, which is equal to 125 milliliters. That's good. And then I'm going to start sifting in our dry ingredients. I'm going to be using 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then to that, I'm going to be adding in a 1/2 teaspoon of cocoa powder. I'm going to grab all this, and I do want to sift this. So I'll sift that. Just going to push that through. Grab my mixer. Speed number 1. I do not want to overwork my batter at this point. So once that flour goes in, I really don't want to overmix this. And then the rest of our buttermilk. And there is a lot of acid in buttermilk, and this is what makes this cake so tender. And then we'll sift in the rest of our dry ingredients. Let's get all that together. Right in there. Just push the rest of it through, and that's it. Grab my mixer one more time. Speed number 1. And I just want to slowly get all of this mixed together. So you just want to mix it until it's combined. That's good. And now we are ready to fill our pan. What I have here is a 9" in diameter by 2" high baking pan. I've lined this with parchment paper, and in some countries parchment paper is called baking paper. And I do have my oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to get all of our batter right in. And whenever you're getting your batter into your baking tin or pan, make sure that you do use a spatula. So you want to get everything out of your bowl. Looks good. I'll just take my spatula, just get it all nice and even. Okay. And now I'm going to pop my cake into my 350-degree Fahrenheit oven. I'll bake it off and I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly how long I baked it. So here we are again, right out of the oven. I baked this for exactly 30 minutes in my 350-degree Fahrenheit oven. At this moment, this is extremely hot, so I want to let this cool for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to take a little spatula, just go around the side, and I'll lift my cake out. So I just want to go around, make sure it's there. I can see it's nicely broken now. And then I can just take my hand and pull it off. And you can see there, 9 by 2 inches that we used. You can see the magic of this parchment paper, and then I can just remove this. There we have it. Now I'm going to let this completely cool and then I'll come back. So this is a few hours later. My cake has completely cooled and now I just want to cut off the top to level it out. I'm not going to take too much off. So I'm looking at my knife and I'm trying to equal out the spacing on both sides. And I am using a serrated knife so you can see how nicely that cuts. It's more like a saw rather than a knife. So you can get right in there, and I'm just going to lift that off. And I'll flip it over and I'm just going to show you how nice and red that cake is. Look at that. Really nice. And I want to make sure I get a nice right down the middle. And this is a great idea if you want to have a cake that's higher, but you don't want to have a lot of cake. If there's only a few of you in the family who are going to eat it, and you don't want to make a huge cake, this is a really fun way to go. Now we have our 2 sections. And look at that. Oh, and this is super, super moist. What I have here is a cream cheese frosting. If you want to see me making this recipe, I'll put a link to it in the description box below this video. I have just made this. I'm just going to whip it up a little bit. This is what I'm going to be using today. It's good. I've got a piping bag here with a Wilton 1A tip. I'm just going to fill that and I'll be back in a second. And then I'm just going to grab my frosting and I just want to go around. I think that's good. Just going to grab a little offset spatula and just get that on there, and you can see that really nice contrast between the red velvet and our cream cheese frosting. That looks nice. And then I'm going to grab the top and I'm going to flip it over because I do want the top to look nice. And I'm just going to place that very carefully. That looks good. I was going to frost the front of our cake, but I started looking at it and I kind of like the look of it. It has a nice little rustic look. I'm just going to take a little slice here and I'll show you the clean side. So we'll just get right in here and bring over my plate and get that on there. Look at that. Oh, that looks really good. Let's turn this around. So now that I've zoomed in, hopefully you can see how nice the cake is. And this is a very tender cake, and the addition of that cream cheese frosting really makes a nice combination. Of course, I'm going to have to try a little bit. And even though this cake is chilly, because it's been in the fridge, you can see how easily I just broke into that. Very, very nice. And of course I'm gonna have to try a piece. Wow, that is really, really good. That is so good, I'm going in for a little bit more. The cake is super moist and the icing is not overly sweet, so it's a really, really perfect combination. So hopefully in today's video, I made this simple enough that you'll want to try it at home. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you wish. I really do appreciate that. If you're on Facebook, you can check me out, facebook.com/BakeLikeAPro. So that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. This is really good. That's really good. That just melts in your mouth. And please subscribe to my Bake Like a Pro YouTube channel and also click that notification bell to be alerted every time I upload a brand new video.